So I always give out an agenda. I've noticed like doing presentations, it always helps to have an idea of like what we're going to cover, right? So as a small abstract, this is kind of what we're heading towards. Because as nice as it is to travel, we need a vacation. Ironically, right?
You can't have vacation.
In fact, there's a little comic strip.
True, yeah.
There's a comic strip that I put up one time, right? Where you're going to another city. You're going to another city, it's beautiful, and then you go to another city and it's beautiful, and then by the time you go to your third one, you're just like, okay, and then the fourth one's like, I need a vacation. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So to help out with that, I have a yearly agenda. So next month's event is canceled just because of Supernova. That Supernova will be going on, so unfortunately I had to cancel. But this is the record. This is what's going to be going on for the rest of the year. So this goes all the way to December, and like I said, I've been teaching this for a long time, and met some amazing people from around the world. So, introductions. I know y'all were trying to get ahead of me, but I always like to find out who's in the room. So, my name is Chris. I've been doing this for about 2 years now, and I help people transition out of 9-to-5s into this lifestyle, right? Because a lot of people have jobs where they either want to do something different, or they want to find out, hey, what else is there to do, right? And I help them discover those kinds of things now. So when I'm not teaching this, I'm also teaching the solopreneur, right? So this tends to have less people because people are scared of traveling. The other class that I teach, which is 1 week from now, that is solopreneurship, which means you get to stay home, but you still get to work for yourself, right? So that's the difference between these two. And I've noticed that class fills up more just because I cover more AI tools and strategies in that one.
Is it the same time?
It's the same time, and that one will be on the 16th floor. Yeah, and once. But yeah, that one fills up just because people like what I do with AI. Like, I just show them all these cool stuff, and I try not to be a circus act, but that's what it turns into sometimes. So, with that said, I would love to know who you are in the room. So if you like, we'll start with you, and if you want, we'll follow on this side.
All right.
Yes.
I will follow the. So Hector Moreno. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. I've moved around. I am an architect by training, a building architect, and pivoted a couple of years ago. So now I'm developing software for my industry. Favorite place I've traveled? I was in Paris for the Olympics for a month last year, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Show up tonight. So I'm super interested in following up discussions with you later about you know, just consultation of things that are bigger than my skill set.
Sure. Okay.
A travel tip someone told you, book the flight.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, if you're ever in doubt, just book the flight.
In fact, there's a thing I'm going to show tonight that hopefully you've not heard about, but is actually the biggest thing on YouTube right now, that I want to show you. But yes, that is true. If you're never sure of when to go, just book it.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a book called You Deserve Good Gelato. You know it?
No, but just
Okay. All right. So it's called You Deserve Good Gelato. And it's about this girl who, she always wanted to travel. She lived in New York, and she's like, I don't have money, I have no way to get there, and I work a job that doesn't pay enough, and I'm never going to see Italy. So I'm going to book that flight. And she booked the flight. She met her future husband. Meantime, while she was doing this, she was doing TikTok. That's how the book got written. Because she was doing TikTok, she made videos and started gaining traction. Because she went to Italy and she showcased culture shock, right? Because Americans love to know, like, what is it like to go to Italy? It's like, by the way, don't go to a post office looking for pharmacy stuff, because they don't do that, right? And don't go to a pharmacy looking for birthday cards, because they don't do that, right? Because Americans are just like, oh, pharmacies have everything. And so it took off, and she wrote the book, and she's like, if I didn't take that trip, I would have stayed stuck in my life, and nothing would happen, right? So yes, thank you. We'll start back right there.
My name is Michael Halliburton. I was originally from Jamaica, born in Jamaica, but I grew up in New York. And I lived in a couple of states, Connecticut, Florida, raised my family in Florida, Oklahoma, and now I'm here in Austin. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and trying to change the real estate market. I was always been in real estate. I just came back from Honduras a couple of months ago.
Nice, okay.
Spent 3 months down there, really like it. Don't speak Spanish, but you know, I manage with my translator. And I came tonight because that's going to be my focus. Once my company is established and I get a good co-founder that we can work with, I want to be able to travel because it's a global mission.
Right.
And so, travel tips, I don't know, they probably give me a travel tip, but I want to go to Puerto Rico. I haven't been there yet, and I think my project can help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And always try to find somebody to pay for the ticket. You know?
Yeah, I hope
There's
business
sponsorships,
will pay for
there's,
it.
yeah, exactly. So, yes.
Because that's my goal, is
Oh, yeah.
to generate enough money that I can travel, you know?
Right, exactly, yes.
Hey everyone, my name is Preeta Maluri, and I'm from Austin. I'm not originally from India, but I've been living in Austin for about 10 years.
Okay.
And about 10 years ago, like I found a training system. I was looking for like mindfulness and awareness-based, vision-centric work,
Okay.
and I finally found it. And I was really passionate to study that, and today I'm a trainer with the company. And I support high performers in mastering their emotional intelligence,
Okay.
mindset, and leveraging the nervous system.
Okay.
I'm also a hardware engineer. I
Okay.
just recently finished my contract at Tesla.
Nice.
And so I've kind of stepped out of 9 to 5, but I've been like completely remote for almost like 10 years now.
Okay, all right.
But I've not been traveling. Like,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, I mean, I still travel with my family and stuff. My kids are in school, so like that's why we don't just uproot the kids and travel all the time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we still travel. We go to, I think 2 years ago we went to Iceland,
Okay.
and in a couple of weeks I'm going to Vancouver, British
Okay.
Columbia.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I travel, it's usually like anywhere between like 1 week to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's not like
So it's
I'm gone for like 6
It's
months.
American traveling.
It's
as you
American
call it.
traveling,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You go out for 2-3 weeks and you come back.
Yeah, what made me show up tonight is like my kids are getting ready to graduate from high school and such, and I'm like, oh, this would be something cool to do
Good.
once
Good.
they're out of the home, and I can still teach my classes and such, and I work one-on-one
Okay.
virtually.
Right. Right.
So I think it can help me blend with the vision that I have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have been telling me, why don't you just teach online? I'm like, because
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have that in-person connection.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I teach in person and online.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, since you came in, we are doing introductions right now, and we are following the flip side right here. So if you would like to introduce yourself.
Can somebody else do it, or am I the
Oh,
last?
no, you're at the last one.
Okay.
We're just doing this side right now, and then we're gonna get to this side.
Okay. My name is Macy. I'm from Texas. Right now, I'm doing like inventory management, like, and some private equity related stuff. And my favorite place I've traveled to, probably Scotland or the Bahamas.
Okay.
What made me show up tonight? I was just kind of looking on the website here, and I just happened to be in town, and I showed up.
And it worked.
A travel tip someone told me. What kind of travel tip?
Anything that helps you. Anything that just gets you out there. Even if it's like always pack an extra pair of clean underwear.
Or wash and wear.
Oh, well, it's just a tip that I do. I don't necessarily. I always.
Please share. We all want to learn.
Okay, I always take a pair of shoes that I do not want to return home with, and I have extra space in my luggage.
There you go. See?
A roll of tape, and one of those tape dispensers, the portable ones, saves you a lot of, like, if you're staying somewhere and they don't have like clips or something,
Right,
or
right.
you need to like put something up. One of those. So,
All right.
yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Start with you.
Hi. I'm Carol Carolina from Brazil.
All right.
So I'm graduated in advertising, but I migrated to tech a
Okay.
couple of years ago, like around the pandemic
Yeah.
era. So I was working more with DevOps,
Okay,
and now I'm into data analytics.
okay,
So I've been working a lot with that, mostly focused on marketplace, commerce, that sort of thing. My favorite place, I think Vancouver, you mentioned it.
alright.
Oh, okay, cool, I need to talk to you.
Yeah. I went there last year by chance because I was here in the US and then there was a flood in my hometown and I could not go back
Oh, wow,
home because
okay.
the airport was underwater.
Oh my gosh.
So I just extended my trip here in the US and decided to go to Vancouver, spend a few weeks there until things get a bit better.
Okay,
So what made me show up tonight? I think I've been trying to travel more often. I'm having a difficult time transitioning to this life.
Yep.
I feel that I have like a bit of roots. I like to have the roots actually.
everybody loves routine, that's why the other class is full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was even these last couple of months living more on a routine
Sure, yeah.
based life, and then I just, something happens or something, and then I just, okay, I need to go, I need to travel, I need to, because I feel that gets you
Absolutely.
more
Yeah.
creative, you meet other people,
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. And then tonight, I think maybe exchange a few ideas. I think my main issue today, the thing that bothers me the most is Wi-Fi,
Okay.
like airport Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, specifically because my computer has like a VPN
Okay.
for the company I work for.
Oh, I
And
see.
then usually Airbnbs work fine,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
homes work
Yeah.
fine, but
Uh-huh.
if you go like to
Anywhere else, yeah, MS, yeah.
yeah, like even I think maybe here it might not work, and
Right.
so
No,
that's
yeah.
something that I really don't know how to fix, and I struggle a bit with.
Okay,
And travel tip, I don't know, I really like, I think I found out last year about Safety Ring.
oh really?
Travel
Wow, yeah, I'm
insurance.
trying to get them as a sponsor.
What is it?
So Safety Ring is a health insurance for digital nomads. It's
Yeah.
run by digital nomads and it's people who've traveled all over. So what they do is they provide you insurance anywhere in the world. So as soon as you land in any place, you call up your agent and you say, I'm in, Portugal, and they tell you, here's your hospitals you can go to, here's where you pick up your prescriptions, here's where you can set up appointments.
What's it called again, I'm sorry?
Safety Ring.
Safety wing.
Safety Ring.
Wait,
And-
wing or ring?
Wing.
Wing, safety wing.
Wing.
Oh.
And so,
Cool.
they're very helpful people, and so if I can get them as a sponsor, it would be fantastic because, yeah, I mean, like imagine having somebody there just like, yeah, by the way, if you need a separate appointment, you can call us or we can do it for you, however you want to do it, right? And the fact that they can just they'll even email you a map of all your locations of where to go to. That's pretty convenient, so yeah.
Yeah, it's very convenient. I really liked it, and it's like it's cheaper than Brazilians.
Yep, that's right.
Travel insurance, which is crazy.
Yeah, right.
And it's very good.
Yeah, so,
And what's it? Average rate?
56.28 per month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What, 628?
But
56.28.
but US is more expensive. You have like an extra.
right, yeah, it has.
Only for US.
Only for US, but when you travel outside, it's very cheap and it
Yeah.
covers every country you go to.
Okay.
Now, I will, I do wanna make a caveat to that though, even when you get Safety Ring, you still have to follow their laws in the country, so always make sure you call them and see if you need their local insurance as well. It's an add-on, right?
Yeah.
And remember, that's health insurance, that's not emergency travel insurance, and that's different. Yeah, so when I usually cover that kind of stuff, people get overwhelmed with the amount of insurance you have to cover as a digital nomad. But there are two things I want to cover, which is Vancouver, in case people didn't know this. Vancouver is the Hollywood of Canada. That's where if you've ever seen shots of like San Francisco or LA or anything like that, it's all shot in Vancouver because it's cheaper. That's where they shot Big and many other movies, like Mystic Pizza, things like that. One of the other things she said was about creativity. When you travel, you're not in this same routine of a 9 to 5, so your creativity goes up tremendously because you're constantly exposed to new cultures, new people, new things. When you're in a 9 to 5 routine, your senses start to dull because it's, I go home, it's 5 o'clock, HEB, bedtime, that's it. Creativity starts to kind of die off there. But yes, I like that, thank you. And I will also let you know, I've had a ton of people from Brazil go through my program because Brazil has one of the highest rates of people that come into the US. So I have a friend who actually does an entrepreneurship program to help people from Brazil start businesses here.
Oh, I'm interested.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, I've met a lot of you from Brazil. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Amanda. I actually almost went to film school in Vancouver.
Oh,
back
I
in
think
the
I
day.
know which one you did.
Yeah, it's one of the top in the world,
Wow.
and then I ended up going to school for entrepreneurship because I thought that would be more useful.
Right. And they used to recruit here a lot, actually. I went to a lot of all their things. But
Yeah. I'm from Houston originally.
Hello.
Yeah, from Houston. And I was trying to get a remote job like back in 2017 to travel because I did study abroad and I wanted to live in Europe.
Okay.
And eventually I found one, but it required me to stay in the States, so I moved to Tahoe.
Okay.
And I was there for 2 years, and then I moved here in 2020 during the pandemic.
Ooh.
And I was planning on like being here for like a year and a half, and then traveling while I worked because I took a client in-house, started a business, and I was independent. And fell in love with Austin so much that I just didn't do that.
Oh,
There's too much going on all the time.
Right.
Until last year, I moved my stuff back to Houston so I could travel.
Okay.
And then I spent like 4.5 months, 5 months in Asia and got lonely and was like, as far as routine, or talking about routine, I really had a hard time. Like, I've never been a routine person. I've never had a routine,
Right.
so it's fine. But when you're working and traveling, like that was something that I couldn't really nail down. Like when I was traveling, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
So doing it at the same time, working, having routine while traveling, I never really got that down. So that was, one of the reasons I wanted to show up. I'm very, very familiar with traveling and traveled all over the place, but the working part, not so much. So I just ended up not working. You know what I mean? So favorite place. One of my favorite places in Europe is Chamonix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's on the border of like Switzerland. It's at the base of the tallest mountain.
Mont Blanc.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm a mountain person, talking about all that.
Yeah.
So, and travel tip. So I actually don't get tips from other people, but when I used to travel, specifically Europe a lot, I would couch surf on the couch surfing app, and I was writing a book about it because I'm a huge advocate of the couch surfing app. And I realized one of the reasons I was probably lonely in Asia is because I went there because it's cheap hotels, so I wasn't couch surfing and I wasn't meeting people. I know a lot of people meet people through hostels, but I don't.
I'm pet sitting now here.
You what?
I'm pet sitting.
Oh, you're pet sitting, yeah.
So
I
I
like
have,
pet sitting, pet sitting and house
dogs,
sitting.
so I don't feel as lonely.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
myself, so that's another.
I've looked at house sitting and pet sitting in other countries as well, but I started using, even though I don't stay with hosts anymore, I still started using couch surfing just to meet local people, and that's been a really game changer for sure. Meeting local
Pretty
people.
safe, pretty dependable.
Like as a woman.
That's why I was writing a book, because there are certain things that you should, certain guidelines that people should have, and there's like no information.
So I will let you know. Have you heard of a program called She Hit Refresh?
Mm-mm.
So it's here based in Austin, and it's about a woman who started a program for women 30 and above to basically say, hey, look, your 20s where you were working, you kind of started your career, you probably want to refresh in your life, right? And so she helps women travel in groups and shows them how to travel safely. And so she runs a podcast and she does that stuff. And I know them because it's called She Hit Refresh, and she's been pretty prominent in a lot of podcasts and travel programs because women who travel, they have to be more aware of what's going on.
Yeah, as a woman you have to be more aware. I mean, there are definitely a lot of, I've traveled alone like my whole life, so it's a little bit more natural, but my friend is in Europe right now for her first time there. She's already had her phone stolen, she's assaulted, like there's just, you know, you have to, you know, there's guidelines you should go by. But that's cool, I'll
There was
look at it.
like a reason that like got me to come here was I saw this, it was like you travel for 3 to 4 weeks with a group and you also do your work while you're in this group, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so, I was like, how do people actually go?
Right.
Cause like all my friends have kids now,
Mhm.
and they're like married and stuff, so it's like, how do you go with people that you like being around, you know?
Yeah, I was so lonely until I met up with some friends, and I was like, ooh, I wanna be alone again. After a certain point, you know, it depends, you know,
Plug and play.
who you're traveling with.
So hopefully the video I show you later on, I do want to touch on that because my background is in psychology. So I went to school for psychology. I did not become a therapist or anything like that because people are crazy and I don't want to deal with that. But what I will show you is in the video, there was a very interesting thing that I noticed as a psychologist was something that you touched on. So before I continue, I do want to talk to this wonderful lady and find out who she is.
Okay. My name's Shanti Madaliski. I lived in Austin since '94. I raised my kids here, they're adulting, and I'm just trying to set up my life again so that I can travel. I believe in astrology and astrophotography and all of that as well. Something I've always believed in, and I finally hired an astrophotographer after 9 years of having the best one in the United States in my back pocket. And anyway, and he was saying, because I've never felt that Austin was home, I just
Right.
haven't. And I was like, so I had wanderlust really bad, I need to be elsewhere. This is like my friends, my clients, and my family, and my life is here, but I'm not, it's not my home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
The feeling sucks. Anyway, and so, but I have a photography business, so I do promotional portraiture for people. I help them promote their business however you want, headshots, branding materials, whatever. And then that's and then I set up my, but that's usually location dependent. I have to be a person to do that. So then I set up my, went back through my archives and set up photography products. So that's more or less like accessories and things like that. That's still, I set that up during COVID, that's back burner. So then I set up Aventura.life, which is VA/OBM, fractional EA, online business management, and a virtual assistant. I can do all those things, everything, just from my experience.
Yep.
And so packaged myself up in that way, and so I have, you know, I'm pushing forward my photography stuff again, I'm pushing forward the VA stuff again, and then I joined this program that y'all might be interested in. It's called, the Beach Commute is the podcast, but they have something called Remote Fast Track.
Okay.
And so it's like, you know, it's coaching for getting a remote only job. So I'm doing all the things simultaneously until something clicks.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and then yesterday I had a down day and this came across my radar, and so I already signed up for, I guess, September, October,
Oh yeah.
November
Okay.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just have to immerse myself in, because this is the end game, to be location independent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whether it's my own, so I might come to your class next Monday too,
Yeah,
and
please.
focus on that, or
Okay.
some other, you know, remote career.
I will tell you though, like even though like I do AI consulting and all that stuff, this is probably the biggest area that has more potential because remote work and everything else is what people want, right?
Yeah.
And so because of that, many people, I just need to make sure this is working. They don't realize like in order for this to succeed, they need a team, right? And that team is what helps them succeed. So when you have burnout, it's because you did not build a team, right? So I build teams for people. And so this thing comes back on, I don't know why it's not. But yeah, so AI is cool and all, but like people want to travel, right? Like that's how you become inspired. You know, that's how you find new things. When I tell people like you're gonna find some little village in Indo region, and you're going to see something and you're like, I'm gonna sell that. And I'm gonna turn that into a business, right? And you're never gonna know if you don't travel that it's there, that you can take that idea and make it into something bigger that you visited somewhere else that people want. right?
Mm.
And that traveling is what opens your creativity to discovering new connections. Again, AI doesn't know any of that stuff, right? AI can only take what you give it. But your experiences feed so much more, right? So that's why like I push so much for this, but of course at the same time you see this class is not full, right? And there have been times where this class has been full because when I first started, nobody was doing digital nomad, right? Nobody was doing any of this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, 3 months, 4 months later, guess what happened? Well, people were copying, right? So if you go to Meetup, all of a sudden you'll see a ton of remote digital nomad communities, and they have like 200 members, 300 members, all this stuff, right? As we go on, yes.
So is it something like a summer thing? Just people are just traveling, so they're not here?
Oh, so
It's possible too, right?
so it's that, but also remember Austin is a very young person
Oh,
city.
yeah.
So right now there's less young people here, so that's why there's less traffic, right? And then August, how many people come into Austin on average?
Oh,
What's the
yeah.
number?
Wait, why are less young people here?
UT.
Because of UT and the
Oh,
university.
they're
Okay.
just here for school.
Right.
Those young people.
So what
I
happens
always
is,
tech young people.
right,
so-
so every August,
Younger.
every August you have an influx of about 250,000, 300,000 people coming to Austin.
Oh, really?
And it's a massive number, right? So all of a sudden, all these young people come in and then just flood the city, right? So then the whole year, you have all these things going on. So then come May, the numbers drop again, and then you have an influx of people doing internships here, but the numbers are still low, right? And that's just been the cycle of Austin.
Oh, that's
right?
cool. Cool to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I lived here for a long time in Austin. I did almost everything Austin has to offer. I've spoken at South by, I've spoken at Austin Tech Week. I've done all those things. So I've had my fair share of fun, right? And now I do different things. But even though I do AI training, this is still to me the bigger thing. Because traveling, it changes me, right? It really opens your perspective. The 9 to 5 really doesn't do that. It just pays the bills.
And it's
you know?
not gonna go away. Everyone's going to do more of it.
Exactly, right. So let's keep going. I always like to provide digital nomad news because nobody's looking for it. So on that note, digital nomads, Singaporeans have started to learn that when you travel there, it's expensive in Singapore, in case you haven't been there, right? It's expensive. So they will try to live over the causeway in Malaysia and live there, but still work in Singapore, right? They want the Singapore money, but they want the cost of Malaysia, right? And so that causeway right there has a lot of traffic between the two. And so this is something that has been ramping up in digital nomad news for a while, to see like, hey, can I really enjoy the lifestyle of Singapore while still being able to live affordably, you know?
How long does it take them to get to?
It's like less than an hour. Yeah, it's less than an hour.
Huh.
You know, so it's not a far distance, right? But it's just the fact that like Singapore's an island, right? And getting there, and there's so many laws and restrictions. I have a lot of friends who live in Singapore. In fact, when Singapore does their delegation programs here in Austin, I always go talk to them. I've met so many of them, and I always say like, when are you gonna get a digital nomad visa? And they're like, never.
Never, right?
Never. And that's because they just have such strict laws, right? Even though the world around them is changing and adapting to all this stuff, right?
Do they have like 40-hour weeks or what?
They do. I mean, it's a little more than that, but again, remember, what is Singapore known for? They are the financial hub of that Southeast Asian region, right? So they have a high concentration of multi-millionaires from China who have family offices there. So there's a high concentration of family offices in Singapore, and because of that, the numbers are just, cost of living is so high, right? But you have an influx of finance jobs, wealth management jobs, and the neighborhoods in Singapore where you have just opulent wealth and posh living is everywhere, right? That's why it's so beautiful, and that's why the laws are so strict, because they have to keep a certain aesthetic to the city. So yeah, I've been teaching this class for a long time. I watched so many YouTube channels. In fact, this one girl, I think her name is like Potato Head or something on her YouTube channel, and she drives around Singapore showcasing all these beautiful neighborhoods and stuff like that, and it's a really cool channel, you know. The affordable European country nobody's really talking about, right?
Albania.
Is it Albania? Who thinks it's Albania?
Italy.
Portugal.
Who? Portugal? Let's see.
Trying to give away houses.
It used to be.
All the
So
towns
this
are
one right
down.
here is Slovenia.
I love Slovenia. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That's
Yeah.
why I moved to Tahoe, cause Lake Bled, the picture of Lake Bled looked like
Really?
Emerald Bay in Tahoe, it's so cheap, like
Yeah.
beer's like $1, same as like
Right.
check, yeah, it's great.
Right.
And so here, the cost of living is just so crazy, it's just like, it's affordable, and they are very much pushing for a digital nomad visa. And they will be part of the 60 countries already that provide digital nomad visas. So.
How many countries?
There's 60 right now, there's 60. Japan just added on one as well, and then a couple in Africa. But Japan's requirements are pretty high, so just FYI. But at least they're further along than Singapore, you know.
And typically 6 months or a year or?
Yes, so it's about 6 months to a year, and that's usually the time period. Now, what makes this one so amazing is it's for 1 year, but it's non-renewable. And the catch to that is, if you stay out for 6 months, you can renew it again and come right back. Right, so they made some very interesting leeway with that, right? And the other one is, Bangkok has been crowned the world's #1 digital nomad hotspot. For cost of living, for Wi-Fi speeds, for safety, for all kinds of stuff.
For
And
safety?
For safety. I understand, yeah. And so they just had a big party this past week celebrating that achievement. And so I was watching that whole thing. And things like
Who
that.
wrote that?
So safety is bogus.
Apparently, yes, and actually we'll bring up nomads in a bit to see. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can bring it up right now, because I can never ever access that site.
How many tabs?
Oh my god,
every
I
brand-
thought it
Oh,
was
no.
Yeah, see, I can't access it. I don't know why that is. I've talked to them about it, but so the browser I use, because apparently this is just everything people talk about is tabs, and everybody's like, so this browser right here actually has a special memory management system. So I can have 1,000 tabs, I can have whatever, and it balances out the management. So
It doesn't
never
crash?
crashes, it never
Which
crashes.
browser?
Vivaldi.
Vivaldi, like the violinist.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
That's
It's a very powerful browser, that's why I really enjoy it, you know.
It has AI.
What's that?
It has AI in it, or no?
It does, yes, it does. But it's not using AI, like it just has a memory management system for tabs. So like what it does is like every time I switch, the management system changes, right? So it shuts down all the other tabs so it doesn't pull memory.
Oh, nice.
Right, so it's not, that's what it's doing.
So how do you navigate?
Oh, I keep track of everything. I know where all my tabs are, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have an excellent memory.
Like folders and stuff. Yeah, I use Opera.
And then it has workspaces, if I need workspaces inside of the thing. But so the other one right there is also why every expat retiree should consider moving to an affordable European island, which is basically Sicily. So in case you didn't know, Sicily offers a teaching program there, right? So yeah, they do. So like they will pay you to go live on the island, and in return you teach the people who live there your knowledge of what you're an expert in, right? And is there a catch to being there?
All right, we'll see you all.
Yeah.
Sicily is
But
so cheap and wonderful
It
and
is.
beautiful.
It is. It's beautiful.
And
And
food is amazing.
Yes, there's just one catch.
What?
What do you need as a digital nomad?
A job?
No,
Computer.
you need a Wi-Fi.
Do they not have?
You do not have Wi-Fi.
What?
Ooh.
That sounds like paradise.
No, here's the thing.
I'll
Here's
get
the
you
thing.
musical.
I get that. I get that, but everybody's answer is, but there's Starlink, and I'm like, of course, there's Starlink, right? Like, there's internet, right?
Sure.
If you can pay for it, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Other than that, do not expect these high-speed Wi-Fi signals and all this stuff, and walk into a cafe and be like, yes, you know, I get Wi-Fi. But they do pay people to go and teach in Italy. In fact, there's a lot of programs around the world where countries are now paying people to go live there. Last year, the Nordic countries, they did a program where if you applied and you got in, they pay for your housing, they pay for your co-working membership, they pay for your travel. Why is that? Why do they do that? You're close.
Taxes?
They want digital nomad with people who are creating economic impact.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they want to bring in the brains to help boost their economy, right?
No problem.
So.
Right.
Let's go.
So this is why I keep track of all
Check
this
the
stuff,
boxes,
right? Just because like digital nomad news is pretty interesting. Like when you search for this stuff, like it's awesome what people are really doing out there, right? So some humor to round it out.
Yeah, I was thinking about this stuff. Like things that's worth investing in, like if you don't have like a
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I don't don't buy fancy, expensive clothes, and like, it's gotta pack well.
Yeah, see, like, when
Three
you're-
months in Honduras, this
See,
is it, watch and wear.
That's right.
Nice.
And when you go back home, you're like, "Oh, it's just so complicated, there's just so much to deal with, I don't want this, you know?
Right through the airport checkout, you know, the deal, you know.
Exactly, exactly. So, if we go, I always bring up the hidden costs and freedom, right? And this is part of being a digital nomad is, just like you said, alone in the city, right? You don't know anyone yet, you know, have client deadlines, you only have one meal a day at the cafe that you haven't left yet, because you're so busy working. And do you keep working until you finish all your projects, or do you take a break and go find something else to do? Determine what's not working and adjust. Any ideas? Because again, this is part of the nomad lifestyle, right? Like, this is what causes burnout. When I used to read all this stuff and watch YouTube videos, I'm like, what is causing these people to drop out? Because how many times have you seen YouTube videos that are like, I dropped out of the digital nomad lifestyle. Like, I got burnt out, right? And that is, the lifestyle is cafes, Wi-Fi, trying to get clients, trying to pay the bills, trying to know if I can get to the next city, right? And it gets scary.
So, quick question,
Sure.
you know, I wonder what percentage of people go in thinking they're gonna do this as, for a long, you know, for a career, I guess, of being a digital nomad, so.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you've been doing it for a while, or, I mean, is this the end game, I guess?
Yeah,
right?
the intention was to be 9 months out of the year traveling,
Mhm.
but, and with that, that means like at least, you know, 1 to 3 months in one place, like probably what you did.
Like a
stay
home
in a
base,
place.
kind of thing.
Yeah, have some
Yeah.
kind of home base, but, I'm just too much of an explorer, I couldn't stay still, and
Yeah.
so then you burn out when you move
Yeah.
too fast, you do too much, you just
Right.
Move all your
keep
stuff.
going, yeah.
So you adjust,
Yeah.
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 So we're gonna get into the different styles of nomad, right? Because there are different parts, like some people travel differently and other people are a little more, you know, persistent. Going back to what you said, there are people who, they have $500 to their name and they grab a ticket and they go straight to Bali. And they grind it out until they figure out, like, I'm gonna make this work, right? And I've watched a lot of those YouTubers as well, and they're like, I'm gonna make this work. And there was a guy who built a website that looked like his 7th grader made it, and in 7 months he was making $150,000. And what he was doing, so what he did was, and this is what I teach in my other class, is when you scale as a solopreneur, you're grinding, not in the sense to grind, you're grinding to build your connections, right? So what he did was, I have knowledge that people need, and I need to find those people, right? Who wants what I know? And he sat down, and just like everyone else around him, he sat and just started emailing people. And he said, I will speak for free. I will speak for free, because he needed to build his speaking resume. And so his website was super basic, right? And it just said, if you're interested, book me, and then just fill this form out, right? Here's what I taught you, right? And all of a sudden, he started getting tons of speaking gigs in that area, right? And
Oh, that's a private thing.
no, I'll get to it. And so he started to build it up to the point where he said, now I have 20 speaking gigs, I can start charging, right? And now I can start charging $500, $1,000, $2,000, until he eventually got to 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000, right? And that's how you build up that momentum, right? There's a guy here that did a podcast, Joel Taplini or something, and he met somebody who was from Australia. And he said when he was 18 years old, here's what he did every Friday night instead of going out with his friends and getting drunk. He said, I found out the limit for Google is 100 emails a day. And he said, I'm gonna make sure I hit that limit every single Friday night. And so he would sit down and say, I'm gonna go on LinkedIn and find everybody that has any executive title, VP in their name, CEO, and email them. And anybody that responds, even if it's 5 minutes, I'm just gonna ask them, how did you get to where you are? What do I need to do? And eventually he built up a network that allowed him to go and travel. And so all of a sudden his LinkedIn connections were filled with executives, CEOs, all these amazing people, all because he sat in his room on Friday night as an 18-year-old, just hitting that limit and forcing himself to know, okay, I did 100 emails, I can stop.
What a good story.
Right?
Now you do that with AI.
You can
That's right.
automate it. Go out.
Yeah, so in my other class, I showed people how to do that with AI faster, right? Like as a digital nomad, the idea now is You can do things that 10 years ago you could not do as a digital nomad, and now you can build an entire business and get to $1 million revenue in 3 months, right?
What?
So when I show people how to do that stuff, is it easy? No. Is it discipline? Yes, right? But setting it up, that's the hard part. If you don't know how to set it up, you're going to continue to work hard, right?
And it helps to be an expert in your domain.
Yes. And that's why I always tell people, like, don't try to be some amazing, like, technical person. Even if you're, let's say, a hairstylist, right? Why does it keep kicking off? Go be a hairstylist as a digital nomad, right? I've met so many people in LA who, they make 6 figures as a hairstylist, right? And how did they get there? Well, you know how they got there? They would sit down on their Instagram account and message every single person in LA, hey, what party do you have coming up? I will provide free haircuts.
Oh.
I will do free haircuts, right? And they got themselves in those rooms, and they passed out their cards, and they built their client base, right? Because guess what happens when you mingle with rich people? I love your style. Can I fly you out? I'm having a show in London next week. That's how it starts, right? Do people do that? Those who are hungry enough to do it, right? If you're shy, it's never going to happen, you know?
And you gotta get the right groups, like you said, you know.
That's right.
Do a bunch of free stuff for the wrong groups, won't do anything.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people, like, you know, if you want to see those kinds of events and those kinds of things, I can get you in those rooms, right? And that's part of being a digital nomad. So when I do networking around the world for my class here, people love that series because they're just like, I had no idea these events were going on around the world, right? I said that's part of networking as a digital nomad, right? You can't just sit in a cafe all day looking for clients. You have to get out there. So the other part is most digital nomads eventually develop loneliness, burnout, physical strain, a false sense of more freedom equals more balance. So my question to you is, how do you prevent that? What would you do? Anybody know Travel with Kristen? So she's a digital nomad who's pretty much visited every country. And she's visited every country almost multiple times, right? She's not Taylor Swift, but if she says, hey, I'm gonna be in Portugal in 2 weeks, if everybody wants to come have a drink with me, guess how many people show up? 400.
Wow.
She just has to tweet and just 400 people show up. But
Because-
again, she's not Taylor Swift, right?
What she's offering.
What she does is she has a YouTube channel that helps people transition to digital nomad because she's been doing it for so long. And because she's made so many videos in every different country around the world, she has clout and she has credibility, right?
Yeah.
So now she has expertise. So because she's started these programs, she's made so many friends. So whenever she's in Brazil, you need to eat at this amazing restaurant, ask for this person, they know who you are, right? That's the connections you want, right? Do you want a VP title, or do you want to be able to walk into a shop over in Argentina and everybody knows you?
Yeah.
I would prefer walking into a shop and everybody knows me. Yes.
What was the name of that person, or did she have a podcast? Or?
She, Traveling with Kristen.
Oh, Travel with Kristen.
Yes. So if you look it up, Traveling with Kristen, let me see if I can bring that up real quick. It is a very interesting, I've been watching her stuff for a long time, and in fact, I've already submitted many times for her podcast. But yeah, this is her stuff right here. She shows you how to be a part of her program, subscribe to her YouTube channel, listen to her podcast. You can subscribe to her newsletter. But one of the things I want to point out here is each part right here is a business in itself. A newsletter is a business, right? A podcast is a business. A YouTube channel is a business. And relocation support is a business. So she has multiple streams of income, right? And she's been doing this for a long time. And on top of that, she has a Facebook community that she's been building for years. This is how you work as a digital nomad, right?
You probably need to create the lifestyle first, so that it supports all of this. Otherwise you're gonna burn out. Like.
Yep. And then this is the other one right here. This is the one based here in Austin, right? She had refreshed. This is their site. You know, you can sign up for a newsletter. She also has programs where women can get together, talk about what they work on. And this is why she started it. She wants to help women find answers, create custom plans for traveling, feel supported, and gain clarity in their life, right? So it's very, very specific, and she knows how to target the right audience. And she has a newsletter.
she have anything for people under 30?
She probably does. I've not reached out to her because I'm not a female, but I'm sure she does. You know, because there's a lot of programs already that cater to that. Like I said, if you look up remote work on meetup.com, there's 4 groups now that have already started competing in that space. You know. So if we keep going, the 7 pillars of nomad wellness, right? And this part right here is pretty key because your physical health is what matters. So having morning walks, like what are they? If you've ever studied rich people and success, what do they all have in common? What do they do?
Health as well.
Exercise in the morning.
They get up early, they exercise or they meditate or they journal, and they always have 3 goals they hit before 9 a.m.
Mm.
That's just standard across the board.
Yeah.
If you want to go extreme, the routine that Jeff Bezos had when he was starting Amazon was make 40 phone calls before 9 a.m. every morning.
No kidding.
And he would sit down with a journal and said, I'm going to call 40 people, and that's how he built his connections.
40
Before 9 a.m.
Wow. How did people not get
Hey, wake people out of bed or what?
Yeah.
9 a.m. 3 time zones ahead, or?
I mean, yeah,
It's all relative, right?
right, exactly. But to him, it was all about numbers, right? Because it was all about making sure, like, hey, I hit my goal,
Right.
I did it, now I'm gonna go work on my tasks that I have, and those phone calls will turn into meetings later on, and then those phone calls from last week will turn into meetings that day, right?
Now you use AI for that too.
Yes, that's right.
These are people you knew when he was working at a company or something like that.
This was his routine when he was starting Amazon.
Where do you get all the numbers from?
Where did I get them?
Yellow pages?
Phone
Yes.
numbers.
Yes. So he would sit down and he was figuring out who can I work with, who can help, right? Because again, all we had was the basic internet at the time. It
Right.
wasn't what we have today.
Right.
So he would go and search whatever he could find that could help grow his business. If that was a logistics company, if that was a packaging company, if that was some type of labeling company, anybody that was thinking about selling online, he wanted to talk to them, right? And he would just go through those numbers every single time. And it may be a bookstore, it may be a small little business, anybody that would just take a phone call with him, right? Because again, he was nobody at the time, right? And that's how he built his business, you know? And that's the same thing for a lot of businesses, even if you're a solopreneur, right? If I'm selling doggy treats, what do I want to do as a dog owner? Where do I want to spend my time? Anybody have an idea?
Doggy
Dog
parks.
parks, where else?
Groomers.
Where else? Why do people keep forgetting this? There are festivals for dogs, you know that.
No,
Like, right?
I didn't know that.
Like, there's pet festivals, there's all kinds of things, right? Like, go get a table, go get set up, go put yourself out there, right? And get your brand going, right? And if you're really smart, guess what? You're gonna use AI to build your ads, and you're gonna run ads in that park that you're at, and guess what's gonna happen? People are gonna start buying from you, right? That's an entrepreneur, you know? If you wanna be really smart and you sell doggy stuff, what should you do every day? You'll just said it earlier. Dog parks, right? But run ads geofenced around all the dog parks in Austin, right? $20, $30 right there. If that nets you 300 in profit a day, I would say those ads are paying off. And guess what? We have AI now to build all that stuff for you. You don't need a team anymore, right?
I do have a quick question. Have you found an AI that does good strategic ads, or do you still need the strategy? Because I haven't found an AI that does the strategy aspect of that.
So what I would recommend doing that is build your own custom GPT to train off of, right? Like go in and do that, so that way you can have it train on everything that you know is good copy, right? Everything that you know it works, like get all the top books that have been out there, put it into that AI, right? And then have it go, and if there are YouTubers you know, have it train on all their videos, right? And then once you're
sell
done,
it, because that,
Yeah.
because it's needed.
so now you have 2 ways of making revenue. You can sell it, or you can use it to make yourself money, and it works both ways, right? Because now you're making good copy, now you're making good ads, and it's making you money, and guess what? Sell the damn thing, right? And give somebody access to it while you're using it yourself, you know? It's a very different times now, right? So, if we keep going, we have mental health, right? Making sure that you're always taking care of, like, setting time aside for yourself. Like, even though you have client deadlines, all those things, go take a walk. Go set aside time, right? And if you're like, oh no, I don't want to lose this client, there's AI for that now, right? We have AI to the point where now you can build on top of that, and you can work with those kinds of things. Work-life balance, right? If you're in a different time zone and you're landing in a different place, figure out like, what do I need to adjust? How much time do I really need before my circadian rhythm goes back to normal, right? And you have AI to help you. So, access to healthcare abroad. Like just like I talked to you before, we have Safety Wing, we have GetKey, and we actually have a few others, but those are some of the two bigger ones. And then we also have telehealth, we have apps for that, and now we have AI to sort of help with those kinds of things. Teledoc has been around for a while, Talkspace, community and connections. You know, one of the things that people always say is couch surfing, meetup. But one of the things I always tell people is like build your network on Instagram and YouTube. Do y'all know Yes Theory?
Yes,
Okay.
Theory?
How many know Yes Theory? Raise your hand. Yes Theory. Only two?
What is it?
Yes Theory.
Yes theory.
Yes Theory is a group of guys who say, live your life for saying yes to every opportunity that comes to you. Okay? And so in one of the videos they did was, they walked this random person and they said, hey, would you be willing to take the risk and swap lives with a stranger somewhere else for 48 hours? And we're not going to tell you where it is, but you have to stop what you're doing and we'll go straight to the airport. Who would say yes to that?
I would. Where did they end up?
So, let's watch. So, I'm going to see, hopefully I can play this. I'm not sure if I can play it, because I know this, well, let's see. So, what they did was, they found this amazing guy. Yes, there swap lives. There we go.
Swap wives.
Lives. What's the sound on? What's it not playing the sound? Oh no, don't tell me there's no sound. Oh jeez.
Can you play on your laptop? No.
No, because it's this device thing that's, I thought it would play the sound. Last time I played the sound and that's terrible.
Oh, so it's two strangers, so like both people have.
Okay, so I will just have to narrate, okay? So
Alright.
basically, what happened was they met this guy in Sweden, and they walked up to him, and he was going to an important meeting, and they said, would you please swap lives with us? We have somebody else, and we want to know if you'd be interested in doing that. And he said, sure, but I need to go to my meeting. And so he took his meeting, and he basically said yes, and he wasn't sure what was going to happen. He was very nervous. And so, let me see if I can jump ahead to where they go find the next person. So they go around to a place we might know. I'm sure you know where this place is.
Austin, Texas.
And so they're talking to some people like, hey, would you swap lives, right? And they jump around, and let me see if I can take you to where they landed. And they said, hey, we'll take you to an amazing game. And that game just happened to be UT.
Ooh.
And so he comes over and he's having the time of his life, and he never thought he would ever be in Austin. He's never left Sweden, right? And now he's at the stadium.
Yeah.
And he's doing this for 48 hours.
That wouldn't have been fun for me.
I guess you can could speak English, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? That's like, yeah, he spoke English and all this stuff, right? So this is all going on, right? And so now the other person, so they're doing the run and everything over at Zilker Park, right?
Mhm.
So now let's see what the other side of life is like. So the person who was in Austin is now in Sweden, right?
Mhm.
And so now they're trying to adjust to what that life is like, and they're going to a party, and they're meeting new people that they've never thought they would ever meet, and now they're having a celebration. And this is yesterday, right? This is all part of
Could
my
he speak the
story.
language, this person?
He didn't speak the language.
Well, they
Like,
speak
yeah.
English
They speak English, right? But he
Yeah.
still,
Swedish.
he still had his friends to help him from yesterday, right? And it was just, the point is like, this was 5 years ago, right? The crazy part about this video is, the guy they met in Sweden now works for Yes Theory full time.
Wow.
And I think it was like 2 years ago, he went and did the same thing for somebody else in Thailand. And they went to somebody and said, would you be willing to take a trip with us somewhere? We're not going to tell you, just say yes, and we will change your lives, right? And she had to go talk to her parents and like, I don't know, this sounds pretty weird, and she said yes, and she swapped lives with somebody else, and he was able to pay that forward to somebody else. So that's why when you search this, it brings up another video. Where is it? I think it was, yeah, so he did the same thing, he swapped lives. I think it was this one right here. Was it this one? Oh no, this one's too short. But anyhow, that's what they do, right? This is the whole point, is they go out and change people's lives. There was another video where they're knocking on strangers' doors, and if one person says yes, they will take them around the world, they won't tell them where they're going, and they will drive them straight to the airport, and they will go to their first country. As soon as they get the plane, they'll tell them where they're going. And guess what happened to that person? The person they met had just lost their father. And the family was just like, no, they need this trip. They need to go. And so they weren't sure, because they're like, no, we just lost somebody, I should be here helping. And they're like, no, go. You need this trip, go have fun. And so the yes crew grabbed them, and then they got on a plane, and they went, I believe, to India, right? They went to India, they showed them around, they did all this cool stuff. And then the last country they went to was in Africa. And they gave them a GoPro and they said, now you go tell your story, and we're gonna go back home, right? And so they came and got him later on, and they posted all the footage that he made of his story, and he was like crying, because he was like, several days ago, like I was dealing with heartbreak and sorrow in my family, and now I'm in some country I've never thought I would ever be in, and I'm experiencing new things in life that I thought I would never even think about. And he's like, I love life again. I love doing what I do, you know? And it changed his world, right? And that's why they say, just say yes sometimes, because that's what, you never know what's gonna happen, right? So you need that community, you need that connections. And in yesterday, they also said, finding free places to crash with Tinder. So they made a YouTube video about using Tinder to find free places to crash, not meet people. And one time they were in Paris, and they met this girl, and they're just like, look, we want to be honest with you, we're just trying to find a free place, and we're making a YouTube video. If you would help us out, it would be wonderful, right? And so she's like, yeah, why not? You know? And they met up, and she told them about what she does and where she works and kind of things, and then they told them who they are, and she's like, you're famous? She's like, oh my God, this is amazing. She never thought she'd meet famous YouTubers. She's like, I work a simple job in Paris, and it's, you know, I pay the bills and all these things, and it was a wonderful video, right? But it shows you community, it shows you connections, right? And that's the important part to all that stuff. And so digital wellness is all about, you know, finding ways to break out of your habit. If you know you watch so much screen time and all these things, find that one community in your city, right? Like Austin there's so many meetups, right? Like my meetup is one of like, what, 30, 40 tonight? that are going on in the city. And there's just so many happening. The beautiful part about Austin is that you have a wide variety of communities to connect with, right? I go to the Indian Chamber of Commerce here, I go to the Asian Chamber of Commerce here, I go to the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce, I go to all their events. I walk into a room and I probably know half the people there. That's community, right? Imagine doing that around the world, you know?
Have you seen that in other cities as well, like Austin, or is this is unique? What do you think?
There are other cities who have just as much, right? Like you go to DC, there's a ton. Like you go to Miami, there's a ton, right? You go to Denver, and I have the list for all these events, right? And that's the crazy part. Like when I have friends who go to New York and they're just like, but I can't do what I did in Austin. I'm like, are you kidding me? New York has like 500 events a day. 500 events a day. I can pick what I want for dinner, right? Because it's all free food, right? And the same thing for San Francisco, the same thing for LA, the same thing for Denver, Chicago. But you have to be willing to get out. Yeah. Otherwise, if you stay home, guess what? You got to pay for DoorDash, and it gets expensive. So, if we keep going, short term versus long term, and this is the part that we were all talking about earlier, right? And that is, where is your budget? Because remember, short term, like long term travel, your expenses are spread out. It's a lot easier to do long term because you're not spending as much. You're not worrying about airline tickets, you're not worrying about travel. Your costs drop tremendously. If you're a short term traveler, you're constantly jumping around, right? So those tickets add up real fast, right? So one of the things that traveling with Kristen has mentioned was when you go for like a 4-7 month, which is what I put right here, I would recommend at least 4 to 6 months in a region, your expenses drop because now you get to be part of a community, you get to build out those connections, and you're gonna meet people who help you out, right? And you're gonna start to establish something. And then all of a sudden you're going to pick up again and you're going to find another region to explore, right? So short-term stays are exciting. You get to meet cool people, go to parties, go to events and things like that, but your relationships are very minimal, right? They're very fleeting, you know? Long-term, you build community. You have an establishment, and that's what Kristen did. She traveled so much that she would go and stay for 7 months, maybe a year or two, and she built that community in that region. That's why she's able to go somewhere and so many people know her, right? Again, not
With or
to-
without visas.
No, she understood the visa system, right? So she'd been doing this for so long that she had a system in place, right? But now, guess what? We have AI. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with digital nomads and AI, but there was a guy that reached out to me the other day and he says, I built AI SaaS products for digital nomads. And he's like, I want to talk to you because you have a huge audience in Austin, right? I've been doing this for a long time. And so he's like, I would love to talk more about this kind of stuff, right? There's another program out there that uses AI to do your visas for you, right? It helps you with that whole process. So it's there, right? And now we have AI tools that do all your travel itinerary stuff and help you find cheap tickets and hotels and hostels and things like this. It's there now, right? But again, if you're not aware of it, guess what? You're never going to use it. You're going to think AI is only ChatGPT, right? And AI is way past that, right? Like the conversations I have with people on AI, they don't really understand really where AI is today. They just think it's a little prompt box and ChatGPT, right? And it's so much more than that. But the other idea is like workations versus relocations, right? Like if you have a workation, it's my company's paying for me to go here for a while, I'm gonna do this, it's a contract basis, I'm gonna check it out, right? And that works too, so city stress versus nature balance, right? It's cool living in the city, right? Like we've all had those New York life pace, like Miami, things like that. I wish I can show you Nomads. If somebody wants to bring up nomads.com on their phone or something, I'm on the Wi-Fi here. I don't know why it's blocked, but bring it up, and that site will show you the breakdown of every city around the world for nomads. Okay?
Oh.
And what it does is it shows you cost of living, it shows you Wi-Fi speeds, safety, it shows you health costs, insurance, things like this. And it is such an amazing tool. In fact, there's a heat map on nomads.com that tells you where nomads travel the most. And one of the things on the heat map is Austin is in the top 10 for destinations. And that's why I meet so many people from around the world through my program. So then, because of the high pace, living of cities, this is why like places in Seoul, Korea, things like that, there's a lot of greenery. There's a lot of like outside city life, nature balance kind of deal. And they have a lot of programs for that. Who here knows about free walking tours? I've mentioned this before, okay? Right? And
Free.
Yeah.
I love walking tours, but I've never done free ones.
So I'll show you what it looks like. So, whoops.
You mean the one by the river, right? In Austin?
No, I'm gonna show you. So what you do is, if you want to get a free walking tour, you sign up to pick up a tour. If you want to offer a tour, you sign up as a guide. Any idea why you would do this?
Donations. Well, that's what I love.
Connections.
There you go. Right, it's connections, right? Because you might meet somebody on a walking tour that he owns a big company back home and he does this and he's with his family for 2 weeks here, and you and them get to spend that personal time together showing them around the city.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right? So now when you're looking for somebody to connect with, go sign up in the city you're going to go visit and get a walking tour, right? And it's free, So you building those connections here in Austin, guess what? So many people visit Austin every day.
Yeah.
And you can do those kinds of things. Now, how do you make money doing this? Come on, think like an entrepreneur.
Connections.
Okay, what else? I know, but I need money. I'm sorry, I need money. What do? Tell me.
And get referrals from all these people.
Upsells.
or you can work with
Alright.
local vendors, local restaurants.
So partner with Airbnbs then?
So what is Airbnb experiences? Because apparently people don't know what this is.
I do. I used to offer kayaking tours in Tahoe and there.
Mhm.
They take a pretty good chunk though.
They do,
Yeah.
but it gets your name out there, right?
Yeah.
So here, I can go to explore Austin speakeasies. People are paying me to do a walking tour of Austin speakeasies. You're making money. You're giving tours. Have you ever met the person who does the ghost tours downtown in Austin, late at night? They make a killing.
I can't believe I didn't do this when I lived here, honestly. Like,
They-
there's so many things.
Like right here, like giant paddleboard, light up the night and clear, like literally like there was another one that I used to showcase. Let me see if it's still there. This person would go with you around downtown and take all your iconic Instagram photos for you. And guess how much the ticket price was? $65. You're paying $65 for somebody to go and walk with your phone and show you where all the iconic spots are downtown and put them on Instagram.
How long does it take to establish the credibility?
A lot, right? Like you have to know how to think like a social media person, right? Because to
Yeah.
build your profile on Airbnb experiences takes quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
But once you get there, you have so much business, right? There's so much going on. In fact, one of the things that took off for me when I started to learn about this stuff was in Refinery 22, there was an article about, hey, go learn authentic Italian cooking from a grandmother in Italy. And guess how much the ticket was?
500?
Well, you're close. It was $250.
Okay.
Now, if you've ever been to a real Italian kitchen, you know they're not big. Okay?
No.
It only can hold like maybe 6 people, right? But you're learning authentic Italian, and those tickets sold like hotcakes. Like she was so busy.
I did that in Sicily for $300.
Wow.
And yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whatever we cooked, we ate, you know, we had a big, beautiful meal, yeah.
Right. Because people want to pay for experiences, they want to pay for memories, right? And that's where the value is, right? And here, signing up for these kinds of things, you make a ton of money doing all kinds of stuff. In fact, there's another group on here where I think it's like 6 a.m. yoga, and you go out to this spot and you just kind of meditate. And I'm like, so you're sitting there doing nothing for $90 a person? What?
And now you can use vibe coding to make your own app and then use the ads.
Are we listening? Are we taking notes, people? Are we taking notes?
What's it called? No, you can use vibe, there's a lot of different platforms, but you use vibe coding to basically copy Airbnb to make a smaller version. It's not gonna scale like Airbnb, but like the thing is with Airbnb is you can't, you know, you do need to be in that place to build your following, and if you're traveling around, that's maybe not the best. But, you know, you can make your own kind of like experiences thing if you want, and then they can't take a chunk of it because you run it, so.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pause it right here. So this guy does the same thing, but he kind of got away from Airbnb. But he's 39 years old, he used to work for Meta. He made a lot of money, and now he gives New York food tours for a living, and he brings in $135 a year. And how he got started was he just ate at all these restaurants because he was making Meta money, right? And so he was like, I know where to eat. Like if you want to Ethiopian food, I know where to take. Like if you want Indian food, I know where to take you, right? And all his friends were just like, why don't you give some tours? Why don't you just like show people? It's like nobody's gonna pay for this. This is stupid. And now he charges $95 a ticket, and he's booked every week.
It always amazes me what people pay for. That's the thing that I never like expect. I'm just like, wow.
So if we go back over here, yeah, I mean like the idea is like you're looking for all kinds of stuff, right? So you want that nature balance because sometimes the city can be stressful, right? Austin has a good balance of green space versus the city. And I can tell you right now, there are people who literally will go to Zilker and they do Zen meditation programs, right? And they charge like $250 a person, you know? And then you have all these outside areas, like we have like that state park in the south part of Austin, and people will go out there and give tours, you know? Why not, right? Who here has ever been a part of the Midnight Cycling Club of Austin?
Heard about it.
Okay,
Oh, no.
the rollerblading Midnight Club? No, we're not. We're
On the long side or
The llama?
So they go from like South Lamar kind of all the way to like North Campus, and they kind of go rollerblading. Yeah, so they go through that. Yeah.
Good luck.
I guess nobody's around here at midnight, so. But yeah, hopefully you've been able to go to nomads.com. You've seen some cool stuff, but that gives you a sense of like the tools that are developing for nomads that are out there. Peter Levels built that more than 10 years ago, right? And he charges a flat rate of $99 for life. And you get access to his Slack channel, which means that if you land in any city, you can message people on Slack and be like, hey, I'm coming here, where should I go, right? And you have a place to stay, you know? So we keep going. So here's a case study that I kind of put together, building a healthy routine in Lisbon. So if you're a mid-level, product designer from Berlin, moved to Lisbon to work remotely, she spent the first 2 months working about 10 hours a day, isolated and eating takeout. After a burnout scare, she joined a co-working space, began a daily morning walk, blocked out some social time, and adopted a 2 walks, 1 connection, 1 new rule thing, right? And so her productivity started to go up, her friendship started to go up, she extended her stay about 2 months. What else would you recommend she do?
Walking tours.
Walking tours, yeah, absolutely. See? Anything else?
Or whatever she's good at.
Okay. But you're in Austin. Like if you were living that routine, you're a product, designer, or a mid-level product designer, you work 10-hour days, and you realize I need to join a co-working space like Capital Factory to get out of my routine, right? What else would you add to that?
I would create something around what she does,
Mhm.
like.
Within the co-working community.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that do that here,
Yep,
right?
that's right.
That have meetups that, are all within the ecosystem of Capital Factory.
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like Austin Tech Week's coming up, right? How can you capitalize on that? What could you do?
Mhm.
I'm asking.
I
It's in November.
can offer an introductory meditation course.
There you go. See? Like nothing's stopping you from capitalizing on thousands of people coming into Austin Tech Week, right? So
Right.
you can set up your own Eventbrite events, and you can put them as satellite events around those programs, right? Because they're going to see those events, and they're going to look for other things to do in Austin, right?
That's a good point. I know people do that for South by, so common, but I didn't think about it for like not South by.
Right.
Yeah. Right? Because again, you have ACL, right? And you have a lot of like other pop-up events that go around for ACL, right? We have a ton of stuff that go on here. Because we're tearing down the convention center, right now other cities are trying to capitalize on that. Guess what you can capitalize on? Building those communities, right? Because like every so and so month, this is what was supposed to have been here. So they're looking for those events, they're not there. Guess what you can do? Fill in the gaps. Make the money doing that, right?
Could
So,
you repeat that?
yeah, I mean Austin's a hub for making money, right?
Sure.
And what people don't realize is, well, how do I find these conventions? How do I find out what's going on? Go to the calendars of the conventions. They're right there.
Sure.
They tell you what's going on for the next 2 years, right? And if you know that's going to be happening, make an event that caters to that lifestyle, right? What's happening next weekend in Austin? Does anybody know?
I saw some, wait, is it the healthcare thing? The health tech? I saw a health tech thing.
Right now there's a giant housing thing going on.
Game Fest.
Classic Game Fest.
Oh, this weekend.
So, no, it's the 25th to the 26th, 27th. Okay?
Sure, okay.
So, that means all these retro gamers will be coming into Austin, right? And I've been going to this since it first started, What audience does that bring in?
Young crowd.
Okay? So if you were to build an Eventbrite event or something that caters to this, right? Something in the evening, something during the day, you can market to them, right? And they're there. So that's another way to build your audience, right? That's another way to gain traction, right? You can now use AI to find out how are people finding this, go pull all that data, and run your ads based on it.
Austin is, in my opinion,
Okay.
one of the cities with the highest case of FOMO. And
Yeah.
that's something to capitalize on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
any major event you go to, people are just like, what am I missing out on, right?
Yeah.
There's just too much chaos all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
for the
it's,
people.
yeah.
So
that's-
back in its heyday of South by, I used to charge $350 a ticket, and I show people how to do South by for free, right? Because people always thought you needed a badge to get into stuff. And when people would meet me and I showed them how to get into private events, parties, did all the stuff for free, got all this cool stuff, and did this for like 6 days straight. Yes, they were exhausted, but they were like, holy crap, my network and meetings list that I have for the next 3 months is massive. And it was totally worth it, right? Because South by at that time was this juggernaut of opportunities. Next year, unfortunately, South by has said they're downsizing tremendously. But again, I used to do that for a long time. I offered South by tours on how to do it for free, and it surprised people how much they were saving, but how much fun they were having, how many people they were meeting, because they didn't realize there was so much free stuff going on. In its heyday, there was like 6 Twitter accounts just to show you where the free food was, the free events were, the free music events, the free tech events, all those things, and now they're all gone. Right?
The free events are gone?
So, before this one that we had this year, right, those accounts used to be super active, right? But now there's nothing there anymore.
My friend runs one that they extended to year-round free events because there's so much happening in Austin.
Right, absolutely, right.
But did you still get people that pay to like be guided to do free South by?
I do, but it's not as much, right? Because this year the numbers were so low, right? And it was really, really weird. But there's still interest in it. It's just not what it used to be, right? Like in the days that I used to do South by, between like 2008 and 2015, South by was amazing. Right? It was so much fun.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, you know, and I don't like to remind myself how long time ago that was. But it was fun. There was so much to do, right? Classic Game Fest has been going on for more than, what, at this point, 20 years now. And I remember when they were in a little room in the Palmer Event Center on the 2nd floor, and people paid $5 to get in, right? And now I believe tickets are at, what, 75 for VIP, and then it's like, you want 1-day passes, it's 35, which 2 years ago, $35 was the VIP ticket for all 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Right? So times have changed, you know, but it's still a lot of fun. It's still really cool.
It's really cheap.
Still. But it's still cheaper compared to so many other gaming conventions and VidCon and all that stuff, right? But I will tell you, if you're a gamer, if you're a YouTuber, if you're anything social media, this is where you need to be, right? Because that's content to me, you know. And I've met so many content creators here in Austin as well, you know. But there's so many ways to make money here in Austin.
You know that guy, he goes around and he like interviews millionaires and billionaires?
Yep.
So how did you make your first million?
Yeah.
I saw him today. I saw him today.
Mac?
I think so. Yeah. Like, I didn't like talk to him, but we like drove by and he was like, there's like a cluster of people around him. Because there's a housing thing going on here.
Oh, okay.
What housing?
Like something about like affordable housing. I don't really know.
He's in real estate.
Who's that one?
Yeah.
There's an affordable housing like convention?
Yeah, it's like all the builders and private equity firms are there.
Oh, yeah,
Ah,
how many
okay,
days?
okay.
Only one day?
Yeah, I know. I didn't hear about it.
I mean, for sure today.
Huh?
For sure today.
Really?
Maybe tomorrow.
Where?
Wait, are you on the Austin business calendar? Because I know I've told you about the Austin business calendar. It probably was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the Austin business
So
calendar?
the Austin business calendar is an aggregator. I'll bring it up. So Austin business calendar is an aggregator of events, and it pulls from all the sites that have events. And so you can go in there and basically in one little thing see everything going on. So let me just log in and I'll show you what it looks like.
Business calendar?
Yeah, Austin business calendar. So that way you can have a sense of like what it actually is. So today is Monday. Is it working? I hope it's working. There we go. Alright, so today I will pick.
Let's pick tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow we have 11 events going on tomorrow, right? So we have an ATX marketers event going on at 8:30 in the morning. We have a July roundtable breakfast by the Austin Technology Council at 8:30. We have a Biz Aid business orientation, an Austin commercial real estate investing discussion group at 11:45. Leadership community, financial projections, that's by score. Local networking, yeah, stay away from networking actually. Those are Ponzi schemes in my opinion. But entrepreneur get together in Austin, that one's at 5:30. Entrepreneur cooperative, I believe they're a new co-working space. Oh, and then the AI meetup is tomorrow night. Don't forget about that. That's here on the 5th floor tomorrow night at 5:30. That's like 150 people in AI. And then networking, meeting, gift exchange. If you need some gifts, go to Dripping Springs at 6 o'clock. So this.
There are 2 events about AI tomorrow.
Yep, pretty much, yeah. And then Wednesday.
How do you pick?
Wednesday, there's some, there's a convention in, Barton 12 Drive. Connecting business owners at Live Oak, BNI, stay away from BNI.
What's
And
BNI?
BNI is a
Business
business
networking.
Yeah, I still go, I obviously did join, but you can just go to all of the BNIs.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you get kicked out of all of them because you're not paying,
Yeah.
they'll know who you are.
Not anymore, everybody knows you.
And then we have Building Austin Connections, which is more for like construction and things like that. And Coffee Connect South. So yeah, I have a subscription to this just because I network so much. And so remember, if you have a paid account for this, it's all for Texas, right? So it covers Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, right? So you know where everything's going on, and you're never like you don't know, and you're always in the know of what's happening, right?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So there's a Realtors Happy Hour with Edgebrook team on Wednesday at 3:30, and then Real Estate Investor Group. I know about those guys.
Could you use like an AI tool to know instead of?
So there's a guy, his name is Eddie, and he does that on LinkedIn. So he uses AI to go scrape all that stuff. And I forget what his networking event is. AI, I think it's Austin Event Calendar or something. Or I would just search Austin events on LinkedIn. If you see Eddie, just look for the name Eddie. If it pops up, that should be his calendar. But he uses an AI script to find that stuff. So. And then Austin AI Alliance, which is happening on Wednesday. That one's at 6:30. And then that one is here at Capital Factory as well. So.
Jeez. I'm tired already.
Everybody's calendars are getting booked so fast. Look at that. But yeah, I use this calendar every day because like people are always asking me like, where do you find everything? Like, how are you like at all these events and why do people know you everywhere? Well, there you go. So. It's a cool tool. In fact, I always tell people like it does pay off because you need probably your next connection or your next client somewhere, and it's definitely worth having, right? When you network in Houston, that place is so huge.
It's really annoying.
All of a sudden you find out like there's so much that goes on there, right? Imagine networking in Dallas, what that's like, right? And since I go to all the stuff here in Austin, I'm kind of covered here, so.
So how long do you live in Austin?
It was almost 20 years.
No, like between your nomading and versus staying here.
So I was traveling in between those times, right? So I had moved over to Florida, I had moved to Denver, I had moved to a couple of other cities around the world. And I had been traveling, and because of that, I had read the 4-Hour Work Week, right? If you're into nomad life, you know 4-Hour Work Week is part of your reading material, right? Because 4-Hour Work Week set the stage for remote work, remote lifestyle, all that stuff. And
Is there any such thing as a 4-hour work week? Really?
So there is, because if you've ever read the book.
Yeah, I've read the book, but it's.
But if you set up your team like that, and it works correctly, then yes, you can get quite a bit done. But again, times have changed tremendously now, right? And now we have AI to do a lot of those things that your team doesn't really need to focus on anymore, so.
That book's like 15 years old now, or.
It is,
Yeah.
And I believe he did an expanded version of it, updated.
He did the 4-Hour Body too. It
Yes.
was like a textbook.
Yeah,
Right.
and he lives here in Austin, so. And
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he lives here in Austin. He's been here for a long time.
Which networking groups does he go in?
He's a part of, I forget which ones, he'll come to Austin Startup Meetup every now and then, he'll speak there. And he'll go to Fiesta every now and then. I mean, he comes in and out, right? Like whenever Josh has sort of like a big event, or like even during Austin Tech Week, Tim tends to be one of like the speakers there sometimes, so.
Tim Ferriss?
Tim Ferriss, yeah. But yeah, okay,
But-
right, yeah, it's good
but,
seeing you.
yeah, I'd love to, reach out to you.
Yeah, shoot me a message.
Okay.
Okay.
Will do, thank you. Pleasure meeting everybody.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Good
luck.
Yeah, have a nice one.
Wait, how do we contact you?
I will show you how to do that at the end. Okay. I have it all planned out.
Awesome.
So, why nomads burn out and how to prevent it, right? The wanting to do it all alone is the trap, right? Like when you are running your business, you think nobody else can do what I do, I have to do everything myself. I have to do my marketing, I have to write my copy, I have to run my website, I need to do my social media. No, that's why people burn out, right? You need a team, right? That's why I do what I do, I build your team for you, so you don't burn out. You need a VA, you need project help, you need business accountability buddies. There's actually a website where you can go on and it pairs you up with a random accountability buddies around the world. And you log in and you basically just hit a little button and somebody comes on and says, what do you need to be held accountable for today, right? And you go share your goals and you say, cool, we'll meet up in 6 hours. And that's your little buddy, right? Just somebody paired from around the world. And it works, you know, because sometimes you just need a connection to another human being to be held accountable, right?
I was gonna say, do you get rated on how often you actually, you know, like, I feel like if you don't care about what the other person thinks, it wouldn't help, but if you actually, like, they would check off something for you, and then, like, your rating could go up to where you could be connected with better people or something.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And you can also say like, hey, be harsh at 3 p.m. and if I don't mean anything, just tell me off.
You can make money doing that.
You can make
So
money doing
cool.
that too, right? Or you can make an AI accountability buddy and then they just log into that. So.
There was a lady who men would pay her for her to be demanding to clean her house, like, they would
Yeah.
come to her house, she would yell at them and they would clean it, they'd pay her.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah, so, yeah, that is the thing. And there are many other things that you can make money for, I guess. But you do need a team, right? Like you need that team, and sometimes I've been saying this for so long, right? And I still meet people who are like, they will not build a team. They will not get their first assistant, right? And then 3 months later, 4 months later goes on, and I'm like, so how are things going? I'm still an idea phase,
Yeah. It's hard to find that
you know?
mindset person that's
Right.
really gonna work.
And every now and then I meet that person and it's just like, I need the team, we're meeting tomorrow, right? And we sit down and I build what they need, and in 3-4 weeks, they have what they're looking for, right? Like this is the difference between people who are very focused on their goals versus the people who are like, I kinda wanna do this, right? But I'm not sure. And that's why people get sucked into 9 to 5 because they're not focused on the goals. So then they get stuck in a 9 to 5, they got bills, they pile up and they can't get out. But your mental health is what matters, right? Because I'm one of those people that will say, I would rather not ever do a 9 to 5 and deal with those toxic things ever again and keep my mental health, you know? Cause I just can't imagine that. So I put together sort of like a little wellness travel plan, right? In 5 steps. And that is choose your rhythm, either short or long, right? Like I just say like practice in Texas, right? Texas is such a huge space that many times you forget how big it is. That there are probably like 3 or 4 European countries you can fit into this place. Go take a day trip. Go take a weekend trip. Like go challenge yourself. I'm gonna go to Mackenzie Falls. I'm gonna find a place, build a company, see what you can do. Right? That's your goal for the weekend. And see how many clients can I get on my own. Because you know your house is only a day away or like 3 hours away, right? But you're challenging yourself. You know? And plan for physical and mental needs in advance, right? Like if you know like every afternoon you need a nap, plan for that, right? And build in daily habits. Go for that walk. Go, you know, if you have a dog, bring him along, go, you know, go do your thing. And make time to go to networking events, just like you did tonight. You know, go talk to people, meet somebody you didn't know. And if you're uncomfortable talking to strangers, there's a little book by Deborah Fine that I read a long time ago called The Fine Art of Small Talk. It will change how you talk to people, right? And I tell a lot of high school kids, college kids, read that book and understand why it's so important to learn useless facts. Useless facts sound stupid, but you'll never know when you need to bring it up, right? Did you know you can never ever touch the elbow with your tongue, ever, right? And all kinds of useless things, right? But they're great for conversation fodder, you know? And know your healthcare. Like, you are the only one that knows how your body works. You know its needs, its concerns. Work around that, right? And plan for it. Like, there's so many insurance options now for international traveling. You know, look into it. And you don't have to do it alone. Join somebody, right? Again, you're here, you want to explore, try it out, meet another networking group, right? Like, find a friend here that you're like, hey, I don't know where to go, where would you go next? And go with them, right? I remember when I made movies and stuff, I will never forget on my film crew, there was two girls that had never met each other, right? One of them was my production assistant, and the other one was my line producer. And so they met on set, and after making that movie, they were inseparable. They became best friends, and they were like, why did we not meet sooner? And their relationship was very, very genuine. They were very happy that they met each other because they were having trouble making friends here in Austin. But they found friends who were into movies, making movies, and that's what allowed them to go make more movies together, right? So, let's find out how nomads relax, right? We kind of showcase like what's going on before, but one of the things that I want to show you is this person. And that is so Travel with Rafa. She's been doing this for a long time, right? And she went around and she wanted to kind of showcase, well, what is the digital nomad? Why do we get tired? What is that traveling life like? How can I volunteer and still travel? And she started to ask people, how do you make money as a digital nomad? And these are the videos that started to kind of take off for her because people were very curious, well, how do people make money as a digital nomad, right? What are the jobs that they're getting? And how to find remote work. And many times people don't realize these are the videos that make the money on YouTube. You can make this same video every single 6 months and it will get views, right? Because people want to work remote. And you know who watches these videos?
All over the world.
People who are 9 to 5s.
I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
her video in Brazil.
People who are 9 to 5s are watching this, looking out of their little cubicle window and being like, I wish I could do this.
Oh, I've never watched it. Yet.
So, because we have a little bit of time, I need to show you these people. And this will become your new YouTube series that you watch daily. Alright, so I know there's no sound, which is unfortunate.
Oh, no.
So I'm just going to narrate, and these are two young guys who said, we want to travel all 7 continents around the world, but we have no money. And so they sat down and created a plan, and they said, we need to figure out how do we get to all 7 continents with no money, and use the kindness and strangers to help us get there. And what you watch and experience is truly inspiring. Because they show you from day one how they did it, right? So they started off in the Netherlands, and they said, we're going to start this adventure, but we have 3 main challenges: food, shelter, and transportation. These are the only things we need to worry about, right? Well, how do we get around? Well, we gotta be bold. We have to be willing to ask people, hey, can you help us out? So they go up to strangers and they start asking things like, hey, can you help us get some free food? Hey, can you help us get somewhere, right? And they find people who, like this guy, Yasin, who says, hey, you know what? Where do you need to go? I'll take you there. And this series has gone on for, I believe, 12 or 15 episodes. And what you experience here is truly amazing because you see the kindness of strangers helping others, right? When they get to Singapore, it is an amazing video to watch because it almost makes you want to realize, like, man, there are nice people out there, right? And they're willing to help you. If you're honest with them, there was one guy that was willing to give him a car. He's like, no, take our car. We have plenty. Don't worry. And he's like, I can't take a car. I'm traveling. Where am I going to put the car? Like, I'm going to another continent, right? And you start to realize there's something unique about this video. Can anybody tell me what it is? Because nobody can really do this, right? This is a very unique thing. And so as a psychologist, I broke everything down. So when I taught this about 2 weeks ago in another class, there was something that hit me. If you were to do this, how far would you get? Not very far. Do you know why? Because you're one person, right? The effects of two people are very different on everybody else in the world. So two young guys approaching people is very different from one person approaching another, right? So now let's go a little further into psychology. And this is the part that unfortunately is very sad. There was this part right here. And I will read it because it's kind of small. As a girl, I'd really want to do this, but I'm afraid I could never be this comfortable with strangers. Watching this video made me happy for you, but I felt a bit sad knowing I can't feel the same way as you did. And the reason why is because she's a girl. She knows her safety would be in danger in certain parts. And if you keep going, as a girl in my society, watching this breaks me down because I know living a life like this is something impossible. But I felt so happy watching this and how you guys are doing great. Real friendships, real joy, and how there's so much kindness around you. And these kind of comments repeat over and over, right? And
my couch surfing.
Yeah.
I had the worst experience ever.
I'm sorry,
And I
yeah.
never
In a hostel, it was a co-ed hostel. The only other person in the room, he was a man and he was doing cocaine. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was 18 and I'm like, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
So behind these videos, they're great to watch, right? But it also shows you reality in the world. And that is like, yes, when you're young, you're fearless, you want to try something new. For people who've taken my class that are older, they're in the transition period for careers, they look at this and they go, well, I'm not young anymore. Like, I can't go out and talk to people and ask for help, right? So that brings me into another thing. This book was written before pretty much YouTube and all this stuff, right? So he did this journey a long time ago. The book came out in 2015. YouTube came out around 2004, and he was much older. And he says, I'm going to take a bike, and I'm going to retrofit it, and I'm going to travel the world on the kindness of strangers and see how far I get. Well, now YouTube is filled with all kinds of stories about this stuff, right? But this guy wanted to do it the old school way, right? Just him and a little car. And he wrote about his whole experience. There were good nights, there were bad days, bad experiences, good days, right? And just like with the two boys you saw before me, they too had bad nights. Sometimes people wouldn't help them and they had to go camp out in a forest and see what came of it, right? But there's a lot of things like this around. So there's also volunteering, volunteering around the world. Whoops. Yeah, there it is right there. I've read this book as well. And so Wide Open World, where you can pretty much travel the world volunteering in programs. If you've ever heard of the program WOOF, right, like you can go and join these programs where you can work on organic farms around the world, and they give you free housing, free food, free lodging, all these things, you just have to pay to get there, right? And that's the way to travel, right? You volunteer.
Are there other, because I'm really familiar with that, but not like other ways of traveling and volunteering, that's not the
What is the
whole thing, yeah.
So there's another way, which is the
Go Packer. Packer is Go Packer?
yeah, there's that one, but there's also there's the volunteer program. I think it was through Telegram. Telegram has some volunteer travel programs. Just be very careful with some of those right there. Make sure to vet them. You know, either like check them out on Reddit, like what their experiences are. But there are a lot of like these groups that are showing up on like Signal, Telegram, things like that you can sign up for. And just visit a website. Make sure they have a website of some sort, right? Like just don't take somebody's word for it. And get some feedback, right? Even Facebook groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups that have volunteer programs that are out there. Have AI go out and do some research for you and put like together like a little thing. And have AI go and be like, hey, I want to travel this part of the world. I only want to do it volunteer programs. Can you put together a program for me, right? And then it can go and find those things and then you go do the research, right? And then sort of set up a plan that way, you know? We live in a different way of traveling now, and because of that, I would always recommend make sure to document it, right? So those are some of the books that I recommend to start off with, because yes, they're books, but that travel series, please go watch it. It's truly amazing. They want to be full-time YouTubers, so when they started, they had less than 9,000 subscribers. By the third video, they had over 225,000 subscribers. Their goal was to get to 100,000, right? So they got their first plaque, they got their first goals, and now they're trying to hit 1 million because they want to be full-time YouTubers. Now, because of that series, Yes Theory gave them their official approval, and now Yes Theory has provided support and generosity to them, you know. That's what it takes. Like, literally, I tell people, make YouTube videos, go do social media. Do people listen to me? But they love watching social media, you know? So, if you have more questions, I have my email at the end. So how can I help you? So I always tell people, like, I can find you somebody to manage your schedule, right? I can help you apply for jobs around the world, get you a travel assistant, right? Somebody that can write all your books for you. Even somebody like who knows how to use AI to write your books, right? Like, we know books are out there, right? But how many of us sit down and write the book, right? Very few. There's that kid on YouTube who basically made $1 million in 7 months writing books with AI. We know we can do that, but do we, right? Start speaking at events, right? I can find you somebody who can get all your speaking events for the year, right? Come talk to me, right? Develop your online courses, develop templates, all these things. You know you need this stuff to build your business. Do you do? So, I just asked for feedback. So this is a little QR thing that I have, like a little survey, and I would appreciate it if you please fill it out. It helps me improve this program. And then I also want to point out, if you parked in the garage, I do have discount codes for you if you need that. If you didn't park in the garage, you don't need this. To answer your question, at the end, I'll let you finish. This is how you keep in touch. So that's my LinkedIn, and that's my email.
Okay.
I'm not finding you in this thing.
It should show. Did it scan correctly?
Yeah, I'm getting like a different responses.
Okay. And then before you leave, I also forgot to do a sign-in sheet. So what I'm going to do is just unplug my laptop. Or do you still need does everybody need the code still, or are you good? Okay, alright, yeah. I'm going to minimize and scan that. And then I'm just going to have you, when you leave, just put your name and email, just so I can keep track, because I have to give a list of names of people for Capital Factory who showed up. So, 4, 8, okay.
On your laptop.
Yeah, I just have to submit numbers.
Oh, you don't have the picture.
I know, I need to put that.
Yeah, maybe it's not optimized.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not optimized.
I should have AI do that for me, that's part of it. But yes, if you want, next Monday I will be back for my solopreneur class. Again, it's on the 16th floor, and it's at 6 p.m.
Where do you sign up for that?
It's also on the Capital Factory newsletter.
I need to put some locks on these wheels.
Oh, okay.
They was moving around.
Alright.
Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Before you leave, if you want, just put your name and email, and then just put it right there. Yeah.
I also have cards if anybody wants to connect on my end.
Like. I feel like we've met before.
We probably have. Here you go.
What part of Houston?
Oh, we more likely met in Austin, honestly. I'm never out there.
So you're in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in the Woodlands area.
Girl, what part of the Woodlands?
Oh.
Like, for real.
Were you at a women's event last week?
I don't think so.
That's like literally the only thing I've done.
but.
Okay, did you go to high school around me?
Are you on LinkedIn or Instagram?
I don't know if you wanna
But,
consider
um,
working with me, since
Yeah,
you work
my
with AI.
Instagram or my
Yeah.
website is
Okay.
You do AI stuff?
She
Either
does.
way, if Instagram's
What do you
easier.
do?
Okay.
I'm in real estate, but, I did that first home. What I'm trying to do is, give back, whoever pays
Okay,
rent,
awesome.
give back 60% of whatever you pay them. It goes into an insurance
And we'll
policy
see.
that give you a face value of say 300,000, and the difference going to a pool, or reinvest it and grow the policy.
Yeah. And then,
So we'll buy more
on there,
properties,
it goes
or
to
we
my
can invest
other,
in stock
where I
bonds.
have my
I'm
products,
trying to
and I'm
create
about to
a,
put
like,
more,
a community
portraits
that
on there, but
invests.
then if you
That
do my
typically
start
wouldn't have
page,
gotten
it
the money
takes
to
my
invest in the
website
first
too.
place.
For both
So it
websites,
grows.
the
You'll
VA
be a
website and
millionaire in 10
the
years.
So thank you.
Based on
Is it
what
like-
you pay yourself.
like life insurance type stuff, or just like
It's on top of that.
Well,
I am
Yeah, it's
making
like
sure that I
the
have.
property itself is
like
when you get
meditation
the companies,
classes.
Uh-huh.
corporation on a trust,
Okay.
right, and you're living in it, and the
Where is
60% you
that?
receive
Here?
goes
Hyde
into
Oh,
the,
Hyde Park,
Yeah.
to
okay.
the insurance policy.
Speedway,
What's the Hyde Park?
Guaranteed.
Sorry.
I teach my
And then
classes,
you let it
the
to
weekly
reinvest.
meditation-based policies class, you're welcome.
I need money to buy
Drop by
properties, I
and,
don't go and use my own property, so
Can
I'm
I
trying to
take
get
your
people to
business
donate
card?
$5,
What is that?
get enough people donating $5.
So you
and,
can check me on Instagram,
And,
Instagram?
yeah,
Okay.
because my LinkedIn says I'm a hard ranger every time.
What's your name?
Thank you.
Okay. Finally got a business card,
Thank you.
so we're in business.
Perfect, thank you.
So you're here, how long are you here also?
What kind of stuff do you do with
Through
movies?
my birthday.
So I used to, direct movies, I produce movies, and I wrote movies, and then I was a first AD for a long time.
So I'll accept it and send you a
You
message.
already know it, okay, cool, I would love to do that.
I haven't worked in movies in
Yeah,
a long time.
so come on
I was a
Wednesday.
kid actor before
What
that,
time
so.
on Wednesday?
7 p.m.
That's so cool.
Unless you have AI meeting.
Well, there is that AI thing that you just told us
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I mean, I know this.
AI versus AI.
Yeah, Austin AI Filmmakers Association.
Yeah, those are really good
Because I
questions.
go to his events, so.
so I can call you and talk to you, right? Okay.
And we do have to be out in 1 minute, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, because I only have the room till 8.
You on Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
If I wanted to send you, like, of course I need.
So LinkedIn, like on the high
All these
rating,
things,
is pretty
and all this like
famous.
spinning and whatever, but I do have, but really, it's like if I, igniting my, for instance, the VA company or whatever, if I sent you my information and
Absolutely.
and other things that I do
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah,
then
email,
I'll do
yes.
that.
And then did you fill this out?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Well, fantastic. It's new friend in the woodlands.
Yeah, just name and email.
Girl, needed you for a long time, lonely out there.
To lock the tables in place.
Yeah. I just
Can I message you?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you weren't here for.
If you want, you can
Maybe I
come
should
to
suggest
class
that.
sometime.
Right.
So like
I know there's new tables on the
Wednesday, I'm
last.
teaching a talent
Yeah.
promotion class.
Okay.
So like how
Out of
we
town.
train the emotions so that because emotions are powerful.
Yeah.
You can use them.
You don't need my email, right?
Yeah, I just need a head count, that's all.
Cool, let's chat, yeah.
Find
I don't
it.
know what this is out there.
I mean, like, you know, I have a lot of resources. like-
Yeah, so my,
Yeah, so this is very different, this is like.
So it'll be
Like, how
a
do
direct
you
email,
feel?
that's okay,
Yeah.
because I didn't.
Yeah,
How do you
absolutely.
say
Yeah.
something?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll make it work, okay, awesome.
Right, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
what
once
you
I
feel.
approve it, then you can.
But if you get stuck
Okay.
there, then.
But thank you so much for coming.
Or you're not as punctual.
I might see next,
Right?
next
So
Monday.
I'll send you a guest pass link, you
That's,
can just
that's
request a
kind
guest pass.
of, where,
I'm teaching Hyde
is
Park.
this number like a textable one?
yeah. Yep, that's my real,
Oh, okay,
real
so
phone
four,
number.
so 4,001
But also
students,
Instagram.
that's close to like.
Boy, it's so
the first, like,
fine.
bookstore.
Thank you.
Well, thank
You're
you.
right next to on the same street.
Okay, alright.
No, it's at the Trinity Church, which is on the same street. Yeah, okay.
Oh, absolutely. We don't have to be out.
What did you say?
Do you have a card?
I don't have a card, I've been really new or Instagram.
Oh, okay, so
Maybe
send me
I
some
should
stuff,
give
here's
you
my
a
card,
card.
right? My website is down right now, but it's gonna go back up to the beginning, first of the month. So,